And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. For tonight's podcast episode, we're talking about season one, episode one and two of Hawkeye. With me, I have Charlie with me. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
I have Clinton Robinson with me. I also have Nick with me once again for another Disney review of a Marvel film or Marvel. Say hello to everybody.
Howdy.
And I actually have Vernon with me again from
Hey,
It Is What It Is podcast.
great to be here.
Good to have you back, and I have LaDaisia back with me. And
Hey.
I want to say thank you guys for doing this super panel with me for tonight and everything, and being able to do this show. It means a lot to me. So, with that being said, let's dive into this thing. Here's the thing: I didn't watching the trailer. It was completely different with the tone that I was expecting from this. I was expecting more of a let's see here. I'm trying to think of the show that we reviewed, LaDaisia and Charlie. It was actually the Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah.
That kind of vibe I was getting. I was thinking I was going to get that kind of vibe with this show, and then seeing it play out in the trailer. So it's going to be like a Die Hard, get Clint home for the Christmas special on Disney Plus with the Hawkeye show. So I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if this is going to be a show for me. This is one of those shows that I was kind of like, okay, this is a little bit more hesitant towards. But seeing this for what it is now, yeah, there is some cringy stuff within the second episode and stuff like that. And with the first episode, I have to say this: it actually got better for me, to be honest with you, because Charlie, you know me. If I'm tired, I'm become like Clint Eastwood. Kids, just get off my lawn, kind of thing. Basically, when I'm just like miserable. Yeah. So I went on ahead. I rewatched the episodes, and I winded up liking episode 1 versus episode 2. Episode 2, I did not like it that much.
Probably was the Larkin. The Larkin.
LARPing.
I'm not into that stuff, and so it was just kind of.
What?
Have you ever
like
watched
watching a super assassin go in and beat the crap out of him? I thought that was awesome, and him having to give into it, I thought that was great. That was hilarious.
And then admitting that he had fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I love that. That was amazing.
Yeah,
I think that was one of the better parts of episode 2 right there. That was definitely one of them.
Yeah, I was
I'll
just
tell you
like,
the worst part of episode 2.
no, I was like, grown people
I'll talk
do this?
cocktail scene.
Yeah, grown people do it.
Yeah,
I came close to doing some LARPing and everything at one time, but I never did it.
Do it.
do
Okay.
it. It's a fun experience, at least once.
No, I
To me-
felt like Hawkeye. Like, what in the hell is this?
But episode 1 is Never Meet Your Heroes. It opens up with the Avengers from 2010, which is something I liked about that. It shows the
2012.
repercussions.
Mhm.
And also, too, I like the inspiration that it gave Kate
Mhm.
to where she wants to be just like Hawkeye, want to be like Clint, and have the inspiration there because Clint saved her life. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for Clint, she would have been dead.
Yeah,
So I like
saved
the
her life.
inspiration of her wanting to be an archer. Say that again, Clint. Sorry
I
about
said,
that.
yeah, I saved her life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
like
did.
that. I
Well-
really like that first scene though. The first scene I thought was done well, but the CGI was off. It felt like,
Mhm.
and I'm not even a CGI technical person, but I could tell it was looking kind of cheap.
Yeah, you can
Other
tell it
than
was
that-
spliced. You can tell it was spliced with the
Yeah.
Avengers scenes mixed with the new scenes.
Yeah, and the way things were falling down, it felt like a cartoon or something. But I like the way that we automatically know why she likes Hawkeye.
Mhm.
Right. And that was the concept. That's what they were going for and wanting us to sell it for. Is that it kind of reminds me of the 90s, watching some 90s movies with like Land of the Lost, where you see things shake and things falling and having that cheesiness to it. That's what I got from that. But the whole entire thing of it being played out is they're trying to give us a bird's eye view into Kate's world and understanding that, you know, if it wasn't for Clint, she would have been dead. And also, too, she wants to be an archer like him. She wants to learn martial arts like him. Everything was geared towards Clint with this episode. But what did you guys think with the very start of it.
It was a great start, but like I always talk about with these superhero things, the over reliance on CGI and then doing it poorly kind of takes away from it. But
Right.
it was still great to see like more of like a human perspective of what happened, which I enjoyed greatly. But I thought it was a great start for an origin story for Kate. Like, you know, it takes 5 minutes and we found out everything we need to know about her.
Yeah, we got our motivations right away, which I really appreciated.
John, was that pun intentional? Bird's eye view, literally.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe I put a little bit of a dad joke inside my review and my notes. So
Inexcusable.
yeah.
You know, I thought the first episode was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 when they go back in time. Really bad. First of all, what I mean by bad, not like it's not enjoyable. Something can be enjoyable and yet bad, right? You know, it was great to see a Marvel production. It was great to have this content. But let's be honest, it was a forgettable scene, right? Like it told an origin story, which is great. So we don't have to, you know, go to the theaters and watch 2 hours about basically a third tier superhero, because Hawkeye isn't even a first tier superhero. He's a debatable second or third. Yeah, second or third, right?
It's just a guy with a
then
bow.
you take basically the intern to Hawkeye, and now you got third level, you know, superhero movie, and then you're trying to basically cover 20 years. So now we see her as an Archer. We see, you know, lost a dad, tragedy, has that Bruce Wayne effect of losing a parent. And then, you know, next scene is, you know, shooting an arrow, knocking a bell off of a prestigious university. That's not believable, you know. And then you're fighting crime. And let's just be honest, the episode got bad at the crime fighting scenes. I've never seen such slow, and John, I was hitting you up about this. Steven Seagal like movie, you know, action type scenes. Like it was, the choreography was bad, the timing was bad, the enemies was bad. The enemies kind of looked like the Foot Clan. What? I didn't get it, and then they had Adidas jumpsuits on.
Yeah,
I didn't get the Adidas jumpsuits. Yeah, like it was just I wanted to like it, and they kept with every attempt at bat, they kept failing.
I thought that was a comedy.
How the hell did the jumpsuits get away with burning down that building?
Right.
Because it's very noticeable.
Like no mask on.
Yeah.
The pizza owner comes out and is like, "What the hell, man?"
Right.
It was heavily a comic book episode. It was a comic book episode right there, and that kind of is a knee-jerk reaction from pulling us from everything else Marvel we've had, which has been like more, yeah, it's comic booky, but it's grounded. And then in this, it's like we got people in matching tracksuits throwing Molotov cocktails, like punching like in like one of those video games where the enemies, they're surrounding you, but they all go and take one at a time turns on you. Like it was kind of, I agree, it was a little cheesy.
Also, another issue that I took, and this kind of has to do with the CGI thing, right? So we know the setting is Christmas, right?
Right.
They shot this in the summer in New York.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's clear as day. There's leaves on trees. It's super sunny. They're all overheated, for sure.
You know how it is.
Like, I know exactly how it is because we shoot summer scenes in winter in Chicago.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
But you would
like,
think
not even an attempt to cover it up.
A multi-million-dollar production would have just been like, let's shoot it in the snow, or you know.
A lot of it screams to me that Disney greenlit this series very recently and decided that they were going to execute it on a deadline to get it in time for the holiday season this year.
Well, yeah, you do remember it was like dead in the water for a while because of the Jeremy Renner assault allegations and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I guess it just kind of like speed up production. They threw it onto a train and said go.
Yeah, it's like they never moved the target. They were just like, okay, we're gonna get it in November 2021 because our phases are more important than producing a single quality show.
I can say that the action was better than Iron Fist season 1.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
definitely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Don't even talk
I think
about
I MIB'd myself because I don't even remember any of the action scenes in in that series at all.
I watched the first 2 episodes and I skipped to the finale. Like I couldn't watch the whole show. It was bad.
What was the point of watching the finale?
I think I got the
He's the
5
one
and
who
I just
skips
quit.
Toy Story 2 to get to Toy Story 3.
No.
We'll talk
you
about
gotta
your
want-
we'll
It's
talk
skip
about your
Toy Story
issues
3 to
later.
go to
This is about
4.
Hawkeye. This isn't about you.
Yeah, come on, John.
Hawkeye would have watched Toy Story 2. Come on.
He's
I
got
watched
kids,
Toy
of
Story.
course he-
John, you
he's
got
a
that
human
mixed
being
up.
with a
I saw
soul.
Toy
No,
Story
either way,
2
guys, you
in
should get something.
theaters when I was a kid. It was Toy Story 3 is the one that I skipped. Come on, John. How
Even
long
worse.
have you
That
known
one's
me?
Even worse. You're
I
not
know.
helping. You're just taking
I
right
didn't
now, man.
What the hell?
I
man?
didn't
This
get
is
past Toy
Formula
Story
One
1,
for
so
no
I know I
reason.
don't know about 2 or 3. I watched 1 and I was out on that.
Didn't 3
Like-
win some like awards?
Yes.
What the hell, John?
Yeah, Charlie, I didn't mean to bust your
Outed.
balls over here. I'm sorry. I
I mean,
apologize.
We go from
I do
Iron
enjoy-
Fist, we go from Marvel to Disney. Sure, it kind
Well,
of
they own
the
works,
same company.
but still, I
I
mean,
that sounds right. I think they are the same company.
So
It
what
is,
else does
yeah.
Buzz Lightyear come into the Marvel universe?
I think he's
I
face
know.
But anyways, didn't mean to go down a rabbit hole. But another thing I want to mention is this: the Avengers musical. Vernon, you and I talked
Oh
about this,
God.
I love
Oh,
and this is what I figured
that was
was
terrible.
this: Clint is being dragged by his kids to go and see this cringeworthy, not even cringeworthy, musical.
it
Oh, I
was.
love it.
And I think that's us as an audience watching this on TV and feeling the same type of emotion that Clint is feeling. Because I think that's what we were supposed to be feeling.
Yeah.
Because I know I felt that. I'm like, ugh.
That was the point. It was over the top, just like Broadway.
Yeah. I think it was like a test. It was an audience test. So it was like, just in case we have to replace all the actors, how would this land? Right? So like they kind of just put like people up there like, do they really love the characters or do they love the people playing the characters? Then you saw it was like, no, we really love RDJ. We don't want to see Iron Man played by anybody else, right? So it was a bad opening sequence. Yeah.
I love it.
My
I
non-linear
wouldn't-
brain went straight to Team America.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like it was just so ridiculous. Like,
Oh, I loved it.
I would prefer
for the world. I think it's perfect. I think that's one
I
of the
would've
best
preferred
parts of
that.
episode 1.
I would have preferred that the Broadway musical in Team America than the one we just saw in that because again, Team America was such a great movie.
oh yeah.
The point of that Broadway play though was to put us in Clint Barton's shoes. The awkwardness of
100%.
watching all of that, us knowing how the actual characters are, the fact that he's watching somebody pretend to be his best friend who just died. Like watching all these people that are dead and gone in his life, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, there on stage and people pretending to beat them. Like the whole point was for us. What?
What was the name of it?
It was something
I
about
just called it
Captain
the
America.
Avengers musical.
It was something about Captain America.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm working it up too.
The emotions you're feeling about that play were the intended effect. And
I
that's
don't know
why
because I was like,
exactly. You were
I cannot
uncomfortable
believe-
laughing hysterically.
I cannot believe that he think this chick is like Natasha and he getting feelings about it. I just laughed. I'm like, she look like a chick with a wig on.
Well, I took it as him
How
getting
the hell do
PTSD.
you think she like Natasha just because she in her suit?
Not even expensive wig.
Yeah, no, it's
Those
like
leather pants, though. But
Rogers the musical. Awesome.
Yeah. That was what it was.
it was horrible. But
It was
get-
perfect. I
and
think
I'm
it needs to
thinking
run for 4
Broadway
more
is
weeks.
better than this. I'm thinking Broadway better than this.
to be honest
Have
with
you ever seen Cats?
No.
No.
I saw
You know what
Phantom
they
of the
could've
Opera.
done?
That's like the only thing that I watched. That's remotely. I actually went and saw Phantom of the Opera, so that's like the only thing that I watched
That was
that
my
I,
one of the
that I
few good
like
ones.
from a musical standpoint.
Oh,
Unless you count Sweeney Todd,
Hamilton.
that might be
Highly
another one I like.
recommend
But
it.
But yeah, I think
But-
that play, I loved it, and I think it did perfect.
yeah,
10
with
stars. Would
with
recommend.
the play and everything, you can definitely tell that Clint is definitely having PTSD from everything, and all these people are all happy, singing, everything else, but they weren't in the aftermath in that battle with the aliens, with Loki, with everything, and even Civil War. All these people are being happy, and here's Clint being miserable because he went through that. And it's like torture for him because he went through that, and so that's why he turned off the hearing aid, so the way he didn't have to hear that.
Exactly.
So I thought that part actually works a little bit, even though I was cringing with Clint, but still, I thought that worked as an audience view of watching it and going with Clint on that.
And I was glad that they showed that Clint had a hearing aid. Like there are real world consequences for being an Avenger.
Yeah.
He's not Thor. He's not.
Well, and I mean,
Iron Man.
in the comic books, it's more of a callback to the comics because in the comics he is 90% deaf.
Okay.
So it's more like they were more making it a little more tied in with the origins of the character.
Well, and that's good too because he is a regular guy.
He's just a guy with a bow.
Yeah, and when you're around all of this stuff, you're gonna have a real world effect, which is I got bad hearing.
I love that compilation scene though, of all the different explosions.
Yeah, I know.
It's like hard to tell which one.
I was like, oh yeah, that one was in Ultron. Oh yeah, that was in the regular. Oh yeah, no wonder his hearing fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's around a lot of explosions all the time.
Yes, all the time.
It is cool that he could take calls through it though.
That was nice.
Yeah, future's not so bad.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, my future in Florida is gonna be good. I can order DoorDash from my hearing aid.
Yeah, you can come up on a jet ski when Florida's underwater.
But another thing that I want to mention is this: you also go into Kate climbing the tower. She winds up shooting the clock, and this looks like an Assassin's Creed moment gone wrong.
It looks like a standard, stereotypical Disney antics thing.
Can we just talk about physics though for a second?
A little tiny tennis ball.
That bell has been hanging forever, right?
Yeah.
The weight of the bell doesn't change just because it swings. And it's
a belt. It's designed to pivot.
So a tennis ball isn't gonna take it down.
I hated that scene. I'm like, that's the dumbest
normal
crap I ever
Disney.
seen.
That's like from old Disney Channel straight to TV movies that you see that type of stuff, like
also
5 or something like that.
The force of her first arrow isn't that much different from the force of her second arrow, which is technically carrying more inertia because it has more mass with the tennis ball. But
not that much
at the end of the day, they're both very lightweight projectiles being shot over an extraordinary distance and upward trajectory. Like, nobody's like, you could have the Scorpion King shoot that shot, and it's gonna just go ding.
Yeah, that's all.
And royal off. That's why we moved on from bows.
Or it could be a ding like the ex-wife from Iron Man 2, the little pencil thing from Hammer Tech, the one that just bounced off. It just bounced off the guy's armor.
Yeah.
Hammer Tech. Yeah. So it's like ding, like that, like no effect.
I just didn't like that whole scene. This is supposed to be for an adult audience, not preteens. And I felt like this was preteen, junior high garbage. And I was just like, they could have.
The writing is definitely flat. I'm gonna be honest with you, Ledezia.
It's definitely Christmas movie writing. Definitely Christmas movie writing.
Yeah.
Hallmark channel.
I'm the queen of Hallmark.
No,
so you're used to this.
That's right. I got it on right over there.
That is way too diverse to be a Hallmark.
I can tell you this is accurate.
I love Hallmark. Love it.
But then we have the underground stuff with the auction and things like that with Kate and things like that. And I really like the underground auction and stuff like that, her going into it and working for her mom. And then her mom's marrying this guy named Jack who looks like an ugly version of Wario from Super Mario Brothers with a mustache. To be honest with you, he looks like those 1930s animated cartoons where you know he's the villain if if the villain goes on ahead and has a top hat, a mustache like that, and ties a girl to a train track, because that's what Jack looks like.
He sniffs his own farts.
Yeah,
for sure.
But
he must live in San Francisco.
I just didn't get for the villain. This is what confused me: is his accent kept going in and out. So you listen to it, and it's like, how do you have an accent? And then your uncle doesn't have an accent. You know, like like there's a lot of just bad, just like implementation.
And I was just like, okay, so the butterscotch is the linchpin of this shit.
Right.
A butterscotch. I'm like,
they're related. Why couldn't they have the same butterscotch?
Butterscotch, exactly. I'm like, why can't they?
I'd be like walking into my house, finding a Kafka's monogrammed like paper, and then going to my sister's place and finding the same thing.
It's like, ooh, I handed you a Werther's. Oh,
he murdered her.
Your aunt Werther's or your Werther's? What is that?
What kind of parent doesn't tell their daughter that they're getting married?
That's
right. Even though the daughter moved out of their house,
the mama is. I did not like the mama.
That's a good point. That point of contention didn't need to exist. Like realistically, it wouldn't happen, especially because they grew so close after her father died. Like there would be no reason that the mother wouldn't tell her. Oh, I never found the time. Really? Oh, hey, by the way, I'm getting married.
Yeah.
Very simple.
At no point in the hey, you just destroyed a college campus building did the subject of, oh, by the way, I've been dating this guy for a long time and now we're getting married come up.
Yeah.
You know, and the mom is a rich white woman in New York City. She would have updated her Facebook status to engage like immediately. Like there's no way that would have been a secret.
No, she's the head of a securities company. I doubt she's on Meta.
Right.
Sorry, Meta.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, I don't get kicked off of YouTube almost. I don't want to get kicked off of
Meta too.
Let's talk
wait
about
a minute. Don't be talking about them now.
So here's a list of things that John doesn't like. YouTube, wokeness.
Oh wait! I know
Doesn't
someone
like
likes
over movies.
Nobody likes woke people. Woke people make you want to punch them in the face.
Right.
I think
so we're getting political now. Okay.
I think
We're trying to get John kicked off. Yeah.
I think the struggle too is there's no direct connection between the personal life, the hero life of the both heroes really, and then we're ultimately building up to something, right? So if you take like Captain America, right, Falcon, right, and there was a build up, and you saw it, and you saw the variables kind of like intertwine. With this, it's you're still left. It's like, so there's the mad fiance that nobody knows anything about this person, but we know that he's broke, but that he just killed his uncle and he inherited a lot of money. You have the Adidas wearing villains. You have a golden retriever that is unclaimed, yet he can sniff
Very
danger, and
you have
Yeah.
Kate Bishop. You have somehow Ronan's gear is involved in this, and it's a big plot point. And then you have Hawkeye, and you're sitting there kind of like with this like serial killer mystery board, right, connecting dots and stuff. And you're like, where's it all link? Like, why does it link? And I know why it links. They're building up for this big reveal for an MCU villain and all this stuff that's supposed to be really big. And it's just like, I don't see how this all links to the end. I know the answer, and I'm looking at the beginning of the question, but I don't know how we're going through this math formula right now.
Right.
I'm
That's
just
what
trying to
makes it
figure out
magical.
what Kate's dog at. I mean, Kate's dog seemed like she left him in the fire or someplace, and then he just.
He's a smart puppy. He'll get out.
Yeah,
That
he
dog-
found his way
Fire.
out.
He'll
That
get
much
out of
pizza would
But,
have destroyed her.
He's
heart.
dead.
Though
He's dead.
with the Ronin suit and the black market thing, it was a callback to Endgame with Clint wearing that suit.
Did he just
So-
throw it in the trash one day? Like, how did Ronan's stuff get out? Because you would think he would protect that, shield tech level of stuff and not just be like, oh, I don't need it anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I hope they explain that later on.
They said from Avengers compound, but then how'd they get into Avengers? There's a lot of questions I have.
Tony sold it.
No, that's Stark Tower that they sold.
No, they sold.
That's Avengers Tower.
Yeah, but
the Avengers Tower actually got sold.
Didn't he say he sold Avengers compound also?
Yeah, but Avengers compound got destroyed.
Compound got destroyed.
Yeah.
But knowing how Sword works, that stuff would be locked away somewhere just because it had to do with the superhero.
Yeah. But guys in jumpsuits can get it.
Yeah. Or the Comic-Con
The Gucci gang can get it, yeah.
Right. The Comic-Con universe, it ended up there in Central Park. And it was a totally, it just was a bad scene. When it happened, when the scene rolled out, all I could think of was role models.
Yes.
Yes. And I was like, this is terrible. This role models popped in my head. And I was like, Paul Judd was in Role Models. This would have been perfect for the cameo. Yeah. So, it just, I don't know. It was just a bad.
I was waiting for Kiss My Anthea to show up and help.
Or the king, or the little burger. Yeah, kiss it. You know you want it, like the ring.
I don't know. My first instinct was Knights of Badassdom, but that's just.
Here's my question though, to bring it back to the actual episode, right? So they were able to find on a black market auction where this thing is at and explode the room, but some dude who gets a hold of it ends up posting on Instagram or Facebook or whatever that he has it, and the only person that can figure out where he's at is Hawkeye?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
My question is this.
Accurate.
No. The real question, Nick, is this. What was a LARPer doing in an underground
he's a firefighter.
Black market auction?
Yeah, he
got it.
Firefighter.
His apartment burnt down.
Hawkeye left the suit in the fire truck. While he was going back to the apartment, Hawkeye left the suit in the fire truck, which would belong to that guy. The firefighter had nothing to do with the underground thing. He was just a firefighter. There's nothing to do with the underground
fire. That was at the apartment fire.
Yeah, the apartment fire. Yeah,
with the fake fire.
Yeah,
right.
That looked like I could have drew that.
But my question is, these highly skilled people that are going in to break up a black market ring, which, by the way, they would definitely be highly skilled because they're already highly skilled mercenaries working at that stuff, get taken down by a girl who just happens to be there accidentally, who's never been in a real fight. All she's been is a tournament-style fight, which I don't know if you guys have been inside of, like, a tournament-style fight, but there's a lot of rules. She would not be going well against a street fighter because there are no rules.
Especially a 6 foot, 200-pound plus street fighter, which like all of those guys looked like they were.
They could probably pick me up and throw me across the room, let alone like a 110-pound girl.
That's not a good standard.
I'm a 6'2", 210-pound guy. I'm like double her weight.
I'm sure you could hold your own in a fight.
Then you also have the other stuff with the fight scenes and stuff like that, with the bottles not breaking when they're.
That's realistic. That's realistic.
Yeah, that is realistic. That's what I was telling my fiance whenever we were watching it. I said, that's actually a realistic thing. I have no issue. You ever been hit
by a beer bottle? 9 times out of 10, it doesn't break.
Right.
I don't believe it.
Hold on, let me get a beer bottle.
I believe you. I don't want to try it.
We'll test it with a beer bottle, a Tito's bottle, and then a wine bottle. And then, I'm going to go to the hospital.
I feel like a full bottle will probably break better.
But I'll have to admit, the action sequences are slow and bulky to the point where the telegraph and stuff like that is not that realistic. I like the scenes where Kate is taking somebody down with the fast motion stuff, but the Russians seem really slow at moving and getting there and stuff like that, in my opinion. And then like I said, the black market auction was good in certain aspects. And then you also have Armin threatening the mother as well. And then I don't think this guy is rich because Armin even calls him out on his own BS. He's like, why are you bidding against me? You don't have any money.
Yeah.
And then Jack is basically saying, well, soon I will be. I'll inherit this. So Jack is planning on probably killing Armin to get the money.
Or marrying.
Yeah, marry. I thought he meant marrying.
He's marrying money.
That's what
he's doing. He's marrying money.
Right.
And
There's
then
no
he'll
doubt.
have access to the money.
Mm-hmm.
But something so let's go ahead and get into episode 2 then.
Before you go on, Don, I wanted to give my thoughts on this in general. I haven't gotten a chance to yet. So
Yeah. Go on ahead.
Okay, to go on to Vernon's point, what do you mean, Steven Seagal? Like, is it 90s style or his fat ass now in the directed-video dubbing?
Oh, the now, not 90s.
Okay.
Anything. Yeah, the 90s when he had the ponytail, he was perfect.
Yeah,
when
he
he
was
got the
good in the
ponytail.
90s.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is
Yeah.
bad.
First, let's talk about that. Like, yeah, I was like, I mean, I don't know what to think of these first 2 episodes. Like, I was watching them. I'm like, okay, I'm watching the show, but I didn't get really that good effect of it like I did the first episode, the wow moment at the end of the Falcon Winter Soldier first episode when Rent-A-Cop, Captain America showed up in the suit. I was like, because that one had a huge action sequence.
Well, it's a whole different style of show, though. That's a spy action thriller. This is more of like a helping the younger generation, passing the mantle on, showing people what it means to be a hero type of thing. It's a whole different vibe. It's a Christmas film.
And you can tell that for Falcon and Winter Soldier, they put more effort into production and story.
Well, we also had 2 characters that were already established. We only have 1 character in the show that's established as an emotional connection.
Right.
True.
And Falcon Winter Soldier, we had 2 people that we had already, well, 3 if we count Agent Carter as well. We had 3 people that we had established as characters.
4 Zemo.
4 Zemo.
Yeah.
4,
that's
4
true.
people we had a connection with, and this one we only have 1. So it's going to take a little bit more build up. And it's a different style film. This is more of a family show than Falcon Winter Soldier was.
Loki didn't do that to us, though.
Yeah, but they had Loki is Loki.
Yeah.
Right, and he's a A-list. He's a tier 1 superhero. You know, this is like
super villain.
Oh, super villain. Right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
anti-hero
with his sidecar. You know,
yeah.
Like you can have your tier 1, but Owen Wilson was a nobody in the show until.
But it was Owen Wilson.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, but exactly. He Owen Wilson. We know who
girl version Loki.
True, but you had Loki. Right.
But
you still have to
have her
have
backstory.
You had Loki, and that's different than this, where Clint Barton, he's never been the front of anything.
Right.
Alligator Loki.
You had Alligator Loki too, and Kid Loki. But Clint Barton, he's been a secondary, sometimes tertiary character that's thrown into the pilot seat of the show. So that's why it's kind of going to be a little rough to start because we're not used to him being the person telling the story.
True.
And hopefully they pull out more about, Clint and how he interacts with his wife and what his life is like. Because we saw bits and pieces of it throughout the Avenger movies and the Captain America. We saw bits.
Yeah.
But I would like to see more of it because it looks like his wife is sort of his partner in crime when she asked him what's the play.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're the wife to one of the greatest assassins in the world. You're probably going to know something.
Yeah. I think the only problem with this one is it's only 6 episodes. And like it's
that's all. Oh, okay.
I think so. It feels like this is going to be another because I think Hawkeye, not Hawkeye, the couple other shows that were like been in 6 episodes, they were able to like have a lot of character development, but this one just seemed rushed, and it seemed like they had to get this one out there. Like the only reason I was excited for this is because the reveal at the ending of the Black Widow of Yelena supposed to be showing up at some point in this show.
Nice.
Because Val, because like at the end of Widow, like Val shows up, the girl that the Julia Louis-Dreyfus character, she shows up and but you're not supposed to call her Val, but her friends do anyway. She shows up and she's like at the grave of or somewhat grave of Black Widow. Here, you have a target. This person's the one that killed your sister, and they showed Hawkeye's face. So at some point, she's gonna show up in this, and that's the only part I was excited about this. And then I saw the trailer. I was like, I don't want a campy children's show for a Marvel show. Like, I mean, watch animated
it's Disney. What do you expect? It's Disney, and it's Christmas time.
Yeah. Disney owns Die Hard, and Die Hard's one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. I mean,
you said that wrong. It is the greatest Christmas movie of all time.
It is not a Christmas movie. It's an action movie
a Christmas
that happens to happen on
It's
Christmas.
a
Die Hard 2
Christmas
is also a Christmas
It is not
movie
a Christmas
as well.
movie.
John McClane saves Christmas.
He does.
Twice.
Him
And his
Carl
ex-wife.
Winslow.
He does it twice.
Right.
Die Hard 2
He
is
deserves
also a
better
Christmas
respect
movie.
than-
Well, no, they're action movies that happen at Christmas.
It's a
Hey,
Christmas-
nothing says Merry
Just
Christmas
like Hawkeye is a Christmas series.
And
It
I
is.
love my Die Hard now. I love me some Bruce
Yeah.
Willis and Die Hard. I watch all of them.
But yeah, Vernon, like I said, that's why I had to ask the Steven Seagal because the '90s stuff that was great. But
No,
again, I
what?
don't know. It just seemed this stuff just seemed rushed, and everybody's freaking out at the character reveal at the end of episode 2 of Echo. I don't know who she is. I
Well,
just
who
read
is
the
she?
backstory. All you know is she
where
has a
Kate
really.
Bishop is like a tier 3 Hawkeye. Echo's kind of like a tier 4.
Yeah.
So we're getting all of the generations and tiers of Hawkeye.
But
to the point.
but Echo has a bit relation to like a tier 1 villain in Wilson Fisk.
She's like Wilson Fisk's Archer person.
Oh, okay.
I think he took care of her too, and her child, I think, or something of that nature. So that's
It's
the big
more-
play here.
Yeah, the big play was more or less not revealing her, but revealing a character that's tied to the Kingpin, who's supposed to be introduced in the series.
Because I just seen on Vincent D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio?
Yes, his Twitter. He's like, "This is going to be interesting." So everybody's like freaking out over his tweets because he's watching Hawkeye, which I think at some point I think he's shown up in this show. Like I think he's going to show up.
Oh, I hope so. I love him.
In episode 3, all I'm going to say is there is some more hints to him possibly showing up. That's all I'm saying. Possibly.
But this is going to be a different Kingpin than the one we've seen. They're going to make it more comic accurate. It's going to be different than the one from Daredevil. Just a heads up.
I have once we get into episode 3, I'll go into my theories on it because I did that on the other show, and the way that we think that it's going to go down is I think it's going to make sense. That's all I'm going to say because I definitely loved episode 3 over episode 2. But as far as episode 2 goes, the Adidas wearing Russian guys going over there throwing cocktail bombs and stuff like that does not work for me. I'm like, how the hell do they know where she lives at? Right. That's another thing.
They followed her.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That one's not the problem. The problem is
everywhere.
Burning a building down in public, open-faced, just owning it. Like, you serious? So later in that episode too, when he does the capture and escape move, right? And Kate tries to find him and she busts in through the window. All those guys are holding guns. You can't tell me one of those untrained guys isn't gonna, jump and accidentally pull the trigger.
Yeah, they had
his body falling through the sky that slams on the floor in front of them.
Yeah, they had excellent trigger discipline.
Yeah.
I know. Right?
Both of them are dead.
At least one.
But
I'm just gonna go on and say I hate the mom. I don't like. And then I'm not a huge fan of her, like the actress that Vera Farmiga. She always plays the same type of character.
Yeah.
And most of the stuff, and I'm not a huge fan. She's just got that. She's just a. Well, bluntly saying, she's just a bitch in everything she's in, except
always
for me.
hard.
Like too. And then she was terrible in Safe House as the FBI thing, which is fitting for her character. And then she always seems to play the mom character, and she's always a terrible mom. Like,
see, I liked her in the Conjuring films, and I also liked her in Bates Motel.
That's the point of her character in this, though, is just to be the privileged, rich person in New York.
She's definitely up to something too.
There's a lot of because I was thinking, I said, okay, so they have the penthouse in New York, that's their main home. She had her own apartment.
She had her own loft, yeah.
She had a loft, right? That thing was huge. I was like, this is about 3,000 square feet.
And then a dorm,
right? And she said her aunt, this is where my aunt lives, but she's not here right now, right? It goes over your head. You're like,
they got money to have that many places in New York City,
right?
They got money.
Explosive arrows.
There could have been there could be maybe a chance or reveal that maybe she
just owns a security firm, and I guess it makes sense in the world of the MCU.
Biggest in the world.
owning the biggest security firm in the world, that's a lot of money because there's a lot of people hiring security in the MCU.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she's the one that bought Stark's Tower or the Avenger Tower or something like that.
I think in universe it was Sword. I think Sword.
Oh, Sword. Okay.
And what did
and
the daddy
Sword's
do?
pretty bad too. I mean, the only okay Sword is not even on this Earth. They're up. They're ready for the secret invasion.
Her dad was the owner of the security firm, and the mom just took.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yep.
There could be a lot of scrolls that we don't know of that are really showing up in this too. So.
But another thing too that I want to talk about as well. I mean, the LARPing thing we talked about, we didn't really care for that much at all.
Lightning bolt.
I thought. Here's the thing. With the LARPing stuff, the guy it's just some guy that's a firefighter that's just gonna hand him over the thing. I was expecting maybe a villain might have picked it up or something like that, but then it was like way too easy for him to get the suit back. I was thinking that we were going to expand that out into another episode versus him getting it back within one episode. I thought we would actually go into episode 3 and him getting it back.
They're not going to put a lot of time into the MacGuffin. You've already been MacGuffin. You've already been brought into the adventure. Now they're linked. Now he's permanently attached to this character. You don't really need to keep having the MacGuffin bring it along. The MacGuffin was just the why they met. Now we know why they met, so now they're together and they're stuck together.
Well,
and they only got, in a lot of this is showing like Hawkeye's reaction to the world around him and people's reaction to an Avenger, because we haven't seen people react to an Avenger going out for dinner and stuff like that. So this is kind of just us seeing people's reactions to somebody that's not saved the world once, not twice, but 3 times, at least.
On a technicality, we have seen an Avenger out eating a meal with another Avenger when Hulk and Ant-Man are together.
That was one.
Also, after the Avenger, at the end of the Avengers, they all got shawarma. All of them.
But that wasn't.
Yeah, but that was abnormal. We talking about just a normal. He just
just a normal everyday out type of thing.
Yeah, and they're just comping him left and right, and he is ambiguous about that, which I can understand that. I mean, he doesn't want to take advantage of people, but he understands why they do that.
I feel like with Hawkeye in particular, they're really leaning on the whole like veteran aspect of his character.
Yeah.
The free meals, the sense of duty and honor, like the PTSD, like a lot of it caters towards someone who's really gone through that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's
like
really
like they did with Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm enjoying it, because it's playing into that aspect. Falcon was all about the nobility of it and stuff, and this is more like seeing the effects of what it can do to people. And I mean, let's face it, if any of them are going to get PTSD, definitely Clint Barton. He's fought gods, and he's just a dude with a bow and arrow.
When he murdered a shit ton of people.
But Charlie, I know that you wanted to say something real quick.
No, I was just about to say, I mean, like, we don't want to really, again, for only a show of 6 episodes, they don't want to spend, an episode and a half about LARPing to him getting the suit back, because I think it's like, well, you're already being a dead horse. It's like, we don't, and the guy was a huge fan of Hawkeye, so, I mean, it kind of was, because if he spent the whole time trying to get the suit, and we go, that's a lot, and especially with the run times for these next few episodes are very short, and how everything seems to go by. There's so much to discuss in only 6 episodes.
True.
I mean, you don't really have time for filler, unfortunately.
True. But what I'm trying to say is they could have actually gotten rid of the whole LARPing thing and just have a villain have the suit and make it more challenging for Clint, rather than him get beat up by a LARPer and saying, here you go, here's the suit, have a good day, sir. But
it was staged. It was staged because the guy's a huge fan of Hawkeye.
Yeah, I think they were trying to do some comedy relief, but it just came out flat to me.
It reminded me of something in the 90s, to be honest.
I really liked the LARP scene. I thought the way that it was orchestrated, the way that he kind of snapped into it all of a sudden, was really cool. And as someone
I
who's
didn't
actually
mind
in a
it. It was
similar
fine.
position as him in the past, I got tossed into a LARPing situation in college that I did not sign up for, and I ended up loving it. It was a
Oh, it
blast.
could be great if you get into it. It could be a great time, and he kind of did end up enjoying it.
He did, and then giving that guy the win too. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it's starting to
Absolutely.
feel? It's starting to have that George Clooney Batman feel. You know, like I'm waiting for yeah, I know that's terrible, but I'm waiting for Arnold to say chill. You know, like something so
Everybody's
sporty.
chill.
You like this has gone south because unfortunately, I think Disney wants to obviously have a more aggressive format, right? And they want to cater toward adults. At the same time, they know that their bread and butter is with children. So they took a gamble, and this is a real gamble, on a 2.5, third tier hero with an intern, and said, look, if the kids love it, this will work when we actually roll out real film production, right?
Yeah.
And I almost see this series as an A/B test for us, because they're like, okay, look, we got a bunch of projects. Eternals just dropped. We have this. We're about to begin this new phase of the universe. We have to somehow get enough feedback from our audience, and we don't want to invest in the Hawkeye. And let's be honest, they're not throwing the money at Hawkeye that they threw at these other ones.
Hawkeye got the smallest budget, the shortest time, the
They
shortest
did.
run times.
Wow.
And it sucks because Hawkeye is an amazing character that's just underexplored. But I will admit, he is not somebody that should have a standalone anything.
No, exactly.
A core character, just like, and I know people love Black Widow, amazing film, but honestly, that character didn't need a standalone movie. It worked, and it was a gamble. I see you shaking your head.
It was a great movie, yeah.
Could not disagree more.
Critically, it worked.
It was
Now,
two
did
movies.
it work? Exactly. It had the it had the Solo film problem. It was too many films.
It couldn't pick its identity. It didn't know if it wanted to be a spy movie or a CGI wild mess.
Critically,
Not to
it worked.
mention, we don't actually get her backstory. We get the story right after her backstory.
Yeah.
So it's like we really don't know who she is, and now she's gone. And Disney did her super dirty.
Yeah, they did.
And it was a launch for another person to take over. But what I'm getting at is those are two characters that didn't need a standalone project. They're normal people. They could have been a part of somebody else's. Their characters aren't that interesting. They're both just spies. Just one is really good at punching people, and the other one's really good at shooting people with arrows. Like, honestly,
I think Black Widow.
That's why I agree. It is a test to see, will this work? And then they're like, let's give them the smallest bag of cash and run with it.
But I think Black Widow is more deserving than Hawkeye. I mean, Hawkeye just is a guy with a bow and an arrow and a family life.
Now, I think if they would explore
and I'm trying to figure out how they're going to blow this up into something that is going to create a lot of, connections within the universe.
Well, for it to be a successful thing, it doesn't have to. We've had a lot of standalone projects that didn't connect with anybody else. I mean, Falcon Winter Soldier didn't connect with anything else. Loki didn't connect with anything else. WandaVision, it was a standalone thing. Yeah, it drew off from events that happened in a previous thing, but it was an old thing. And I think for it to work, it has to have its own legs. And right now, it's struggling to find its legs.
Yeah.
To go on your point of Vernon about the trying to appeal to the kids, I think Disney's like, all right, they're trying to get the kids in now so they'll know they'll spend money for Spider-Man, but Spider-Man's not going to be a kid movie. Like, I've been hearing, this reading that there's supposed to be a lot of violent fight sequences in Spider-Man. So they're trying to build on that hype. And that was what I pointed out on our show yesterday, John, about everybody's so expectations are super, super, super high for Spider-Man. Spider-Man's hype is like the highest I've ever seen the movie's hype. That the problem with that is there's going to be a letdown. There's going to be a serious letdown. How let down it is, depends on your expectations going in, and if it gets so low, like if it doesn't even exceed like everybody's expectations, it's going to hurt it in the long run in terms of the box office. Like I'm rooting for it to do well.
Worse than Spider-Man 3. So
right,
or
that was horrible.
Spider-Man 3 is better than any decent Spider-Man movies. I mean, I would watch the Tobey Maguire dance sequence than anything about Andrew Garfield's fucking parents. Like, I don't care about that.
Yeah,
Andrew, the Amazing Spider-Man.
I totally forgot about him.
I thought Andrew did a decent job. I just thought
they made it CGI.
That's not that movie's fault. It was limited by its time.
Yeah, and like I love Jamie Foxx, but.
Paul Giamatti was the Rhino in only 5 minutes of that movie. The beginning and then the end. And he's barely in it. Like,
but what I'm saying is, like, Spider-Man. We're not worried about Spider-Man's hype. Every Spider-Man movie has gotten a bunch of hype, and they've always, even when they were the bad ones, they've always sold well. It's just.
I mean, opening weekend's gonna be fine. Opening weekend's
already sold out. It's already sold out.
I know. I said opening weekend's fine, but but again, it's got to have that replay ability to it, kind of like because like Endgame and Infinity Wars, they did well opening weekend, but once you know what happened in it, people don't want to go back to the cinema for a 2.5 hour movie again if they know everything.
Yeah, I made
those
$1
are
billion.
2 of the best-selling films of all time.
I know.
I watched both of them.
But you know what? But it's the replayability portion of it. Because again,
they made $1 billion each.
Yeah, I know.
No,
you know how many times that movie paid to make that money?
Spider-Man, like the Tom Holland Spider-Man, he's not a team up with the Avengers. The Avengers are known for that. For this Spider-Man, the hype, like I said, is higher than those Avenger movies, higher than that. This movie, like I said, if you go in thinking high, this movie's there's going to be a lot of backlash for it because even the directors come out and said, everybody enjoy the movie for what we can put on the screen. Like I know that he goes, I enjoy all the rumors. Some are most of them are true, most are not. So everybody's like, it's kind of like I said, directors kind of like telling people, everybody settle, like lower your expectations a little bit. So when you're disappointed, you don't go bash the movie because your predictions were wrong. Like that's the whole point of the hype.
Spider-Man will be fine. I think it'll do fine.
Okay, all it needs to do is have Spider-Man fight one of the villains, and
Tom Holland takes his shirt off.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's all I need. I just like it'll be fine.
Shoots a spider web once, and his spider sense goes off once. I'm fine. I'm happy.
Let's say Charlie's right. Let's say Spider-Man flops.
It's not going to flop.
It's not going to happen.
It's a possibility because I was disappointed in Venom, and I like Tom Holland is a great actor, and
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. He's a great actor, and
were you disappointed in Venom or Venom 2?
The Venom 2, Carnage with
I get it.
Yeah. That was really
post-credit scene though. The post-credit scene was worth it though. Worth the price of admission. Post-credit scene was definitely worth it.
I mean, with those Venom movies, it's just going to be a constant CGI fest. But sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. But let's just say it flops. Let's say we go in and we see it and we're stuck. We're like, wow, that was money I could have kept. Right? Let's say like that feeling happens. Does the power of, to me, the comic book universe shift back to DC? Because you can only fail so many times.
DC's failed like 12 times. All their things have been failed.
Right now, Marvel
is success. They have proven that they can put anything on screen and quadruple their money.
Marvel is too far ahead of them.
I feel like Marvel can take a hit, and if they have one strike out of the 20 years that they've been building this universe, then they're okay. Mm-hmm. Having one miss with Spider-Man is going to be okay.
They can take one Justice League.
As long as Marvel has Kevin Feige, they're fine.
Yeah, Kevin Feige is the golden arc.
Yeah,
I'm not
fine.
Don't twist my words. I'm not saying Spider-Man's going to fail, but I'm just saying I've not seen a movie with so much hype before, and everybody's hyping this up like it's been hyped up for that. We're getting multiverse. if any slight a disappointment from it, like again, it's coming out in a packed Christmas holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Like if you got that,
we got the Kingsman, we got Spider-Man.
You got the Matrix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Matrix, yeah, I'm
You got the
definitely gonna watch
Matrix.
that.
You're
Right,
competing with the
yes.
Matrix.
Right, the Matrix. Hey, I'm
That's
more excited
right.
about the Matrix than you know,
right,
like
that's my anticipated
That's
movie
right.
this year.
Oh, I'm gonna
I
see
have-
all three.
Matrix.
I
Yeah.
have the Matrix as my highest, like the anticipated movie of the year. I have that. I mean, I'm looking forward to Spider-Man. I'm going to watch Spider-Man. I'm just trying to keep my expectations low so I don't get burned, because it's happened
keep
before.
your expectations high. I do.
How we get?
I get it. If you never hope, you'll never be let down.
Well, I mean, it's like
I did
I've
that
been
with
hyped
Edge of
up- I've been
Tomorrow,
hyped
though.
up-
My
where-
life.
I've
I
been
did that
hyped
with
up
Edge
for
of
But that
Tomorrow.
means you've
movies,
never
like-
lived, though. You've never
I
lived
know.
if you always expect disaster.
Well, I'm not expecting disaster. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I've been burned before when I had my expectations really
Oh.
high from a movie.
Yeah.
With everybody saying, "Oh, like for
Yes.
instance, the
Well,
very first
Charlie,
Wonder
now
Woman."
you know how I feel when I watched Eternals. I was like, I could have got my damn money back for.
I didn't. I knew that movie was gonna be garbage from the trailer.
I did not like that movie. I'm sorry, I
It
ain't like it. I
It
ain't
wasn't
like
garbage.
it.
It looked to me garbage, and I was like, I was glad my expectations were wrong. For like, I went in with low for Shang-Chi, and Shang-Chi was like, whoa,
Oh, I
I
love
was not
Shang-Chi.
expecting that.
I
That
I
was
love
that was
Shang-Chi.
good.
Shang-Chi was good.
Yeah.
I don't
Eternals.
see how people get so disappointed in superhero movies. Like you're going in, you're watching people blow things up and fight. Like
Josh
Because
Whedon.
I know that I trust Marvel.
as long as the color scale isn't gray and grayer, I'm good. Now that's why I can't watch DC, because the color scale is gray and grayer.
Josh Whedon's Justice League. There you go.
well, DC, the animated stuff, like
Okay,
the
we're not talking
Batman's
about the-
Long Halloween.
Oh,
That
yeah.
stuff's
Yeah.
amazing. We're not
Now,
talking about that.
Batman. Now we were talking about Batman the animated series. Now
Right.
that's better
Different
than anything
category.
DC
Yeah, we're
would
talking
do.
live action only here.
I'm
Oh,
talking
I'm
live
Oh, yeah,
action.
live
I'm
action.
not talking Killing Joke.
This
I'm
is a
not talking
podcast for
Under the Red Hood.
actors,
Um,
not voice
So let's get
actors.
back
Because
to
I was like,
Hawkeye,
now that's
because-
about the best thing DC did since Superman with Christopher Reeve, Batman the animated series.
now.
But focusing
That's what we
back
were
on
here for.
Hawkeye for a little bit with things. So as far as the episode 2 as a whole, I didn't care for it as a whole or anything. Brandy can even vouch for that when we were sitting down watching it together, because she's like, why are you watching it 3 times? Watching this show 3 times? Because I'm like, there has to be a legit reason why I'm not feeling it like I want to feel it. And I watched it again.
You're Charlie
recently last
Day
night.
with the
Yeah.
conspiracy theory board. Ooh, I'm trying to pinpoint everything together.
No.
Ooh. That's
No.
you watching this.
No. It's just me trying to enjoy a good TV series, and I'm expecting maybe close to the same tone that we got with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but what we got was 90s dialogue, Russian Adidas suits,
Don't worry about it.
flat dialogue, but beneath the flat dialogue, beneath the Russian Adidas wearing suits that was from the early 2000s that Ja Rule would use, beneath all that stuff and everything, there is something there that is good. Like the first episode, I liked. Like I mentioned, the third episode, you know how everybody's saying, "Oh, what this is like gearing towards children." There is one thing in the third episode that changes the whole entire thing. There is actually a scene where it actually shows somebody getting stabbed, and there's a blade ripping through them with no bloodshed, and it shows it in its own entire context. And I'm like, this is the way you do it. This is the way you bring Whisk and Fisk back in there. If you want to bring them in there and don't want to show blood splatter, if you don't want to do it, this is the way you do it for us as adults. And having the same kind of content in a sense for Netflix that we had on that same level of violence. And this changed the tone in the third episode. But it also has some silliness to it in the third episode. It has some wackiness in it. But I liked the episode for what it was. I thought the stunts were better than they did in the second episode. But we're going to discuss that on Friday night. But I wasn't trying to do a conspiracy board with this or anything like that. It was me trying to enjoy a TV series for what it is and trying to come up with some reason as to why I might have not digged it the first couple of times. Because I did that with the Halloween movie with Halloween Kills. Because I'm like, there's got to be some reason why I'm not feeling it the way I wanted to feel it. And it was because of the fact that that film was totally different than what we got into the 2018 Halloween film. And it was also atmospheric with this new Halloween movie versus the 2018 film, where we had slow way of building a story. With this one, it was just Michael Myers just going everywhere, going apeshit on everybody, and stuff like that. So I was just trying to dive into why I didn't like it. And I'm telling you this, though, Brandy, third episode is fantastic. I love this episode. And I think that you're going to like this. You guys are going to like this one, too. But as far as the first two episodes go, first one was good. Second one, not so much. But that's just me and my perspective of that. But is there anything else that you guys wanted to add before we sign off?
No. I think we've put it pretty good. I mean, it's not the best start to a series, but definitely worth watching. Like, it might not be the best superhero show there is, but it's definitely a good show.
Yeah,
it still is a superhero show.
It is a superhero show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but it's good. Not the best.
I do like the Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. I think she actually plays the role really well. Like, I mean, I like her in it. Like, it fits it. And I think this is like essentially the show's like a passing of the torch to her. That's essentially what this is.
All right. Well, before we end, we do have a sponsor from Stamps.com. And I just want to talk about Stamps.com for a minute, and then we'll close out. So let's see here. So if you're looking for ways to skip the trip, Clint, to the post office and dodge all the heretic holiday shopping traffic, why not save some time and money with Stamps.com? Stamps.com lets you compare rates, print labels, access exclusive discounts on UPS and United States Postal Service all year long. It just makes sense, especially if your business sends more mail and packages during the holidays. Whether you're selling online or running an office or side hustle, Stamps.com can save you so much time, money, stress, and during the holidays. Access all the post office and UPS shipping services you need without taking the trip and get discounts you can't find anywhere else, like up to 40% off United States Postal Service rates and 76% off UPS. Going to the post office instead of using Stamps.com is kind of like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Just going a couple of floors, sure, take the stairs. Walking 30 flights a day. You could use a break. If you could spend more than a few minutes a week dealing with mail and shipping, Stamps.com is a lifesaver. You'll save so much time and money. You'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. So this is what you're going to do. Save time and money this holiday season with Stamps.com. Sign up with the promo code POD, P-O-D, for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code POD. And that's how you can save a couple of money and stuff like that with Stamps.com. Clint, I hope that you get home to the holidays with your family, since we're going to get you there through all 6 episodes of Hawkeye. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for taking the time out of your night to do this review. This is like a super panel that I've been wanting to do for a little bit, so thank you so much. Charlie, thank you again. Clinton, where can everybody reach you at if they want to follow you and all that other good stuff on social media?
So you can follow me on Facebook at RNR Productions, RNR Productions, RNR Film Productions LLC, or on Instagram at RNR Productions 93. That's my film production company's information. You can also send me an email at rnrproductions93@gmail.com. But other than that, yep, that's all I got.
Okay. And Nick, where can everybody follow you at?
You can follow me at NC Kafkas on Instagram, or just find me on Facebook. Check out my IMDb. Lots of big stuff coming. Back to
All
you.
right. And Vernon, where can everybody follow you at? I know I'm going to be on your show tomorrow night. So.
Oh, yeah. We're discussing The Harder They Fall. It won't be live. It will be pre-recorded. I'm looking forward to that because that's been amazing.
Me too, man.
It's been one of the best Netflix releases this year. I'm super excited. I've been I've been holding this secret, but my own signature sports supplement line is dropping soon. You can purchase it at cvmkglobal.store. Your pre-workout, your vegan protein, the BCAAs. I got a men's hormonal support, a women's hormonal support. Get it. But you connect with me where it's going down on Instagram at CVMK33 and on the YouTube where the podcast is at CV. That's Cody Vernon space K. I look forward to connecting you. John is my boy. Charlie, it's great to see you again. I love being on the thing with Charlie. Clint, it's great to meet you. Nick, I'm going to connect with you guys today. It's always great seeing you. And, secretly, even though I love discussing Marvel, I'm a DC fan at heart and will always be a DC fan at heart. But that's where you can connect with me.
Okay. And I know Ladizia is going to be on Two Blur Girls podcast this Friday doing a review with Tamika.
Yes, House of Gucci.
You see, I want to see that. I'm jealous that I didn't get to see that.
I know, which was better than Eternals, because I was like, oh my God. Eternals was a waste, but House of Gucci much better than I thought.
All right. So, guys, if you guys go ahead and follow me underneath Movie Lovers TV Lovers United on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest underneath that same brand name. Of course, you guys can go on ahead and get an audio-only podcast of this episode and many episodes that we do here at Movie Lovers Unite. Of course, right now I'm kind of grounded for 2 weeks because of YouTube. But if you feel free, go on ahead, subscribe over to YouTube after I'm done being grounded. So go on ahead, subscribe over there, click the little subscribe button over there, click that little bell to allow you guys to know when we have something new and fresh coming out. Also, too, go over to Good Pods over there, and you guys can find, to be honest with you, it's like social media for podcasting. And you can rate individual episodes. You can talk about individual episodes. You can tell us if you think our show sucks. Tell us what you think. Give us a 5-star rating. I don't care. Tell us what you think. Then, of course, if you want to, you can go on ahead. Follow me underneath Movie Lovers Unit on Twitter and then Movie Lovers Unit 0 on TikTok as well. Then you can go on ahead and reach out to me if you'd love to be on the show, if you're a sponsor. Just go on ahead, reach out to me at movieloversunite@gmail.com, and that's how you can reach out to me. Thank you again, guys. It's been a pleasure. I can't wait to do this again. Everyone, have a great and safe, blessed night. And always until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Later.
Wow.